Kelly from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for September 2021. Hey Pisces. So last month definitely threw you some curveballs, but I'm proud to say that you're handling things as best as you possibly can, especially with the intense kind of circumstances that were thrown at you. So of course, we did have a choice point under that new moon in Leo, amplified by that Lionsgate portal in July, where we had a timeline shift. We had new contracts be initiated while other contracts were ending. Basically, we're moving into a brand new timeline where new topics and themes are at the forefront. Now, this for you has definitely been a shakeup. There's definitely a huge adjustment period going on right now, and you will not be settled until probably the end of this month. The whole goal here is trying to remain as calm, as balanced, and stable as possible. As the beautiful, water, transformative, imaginative, spiritual energy that you are, things can go from 0 to 60 a lot faster than just 60 seconds, and it is going to test your discipline in your spiritual practice of how you're able to actually stay grounded and centered. On September 6th, we have the new moon taking place in Virgo. So the new moon, of course, wants us to focus on the new intentions that we have, what we want to see happen, the new routines, the new environments that we're moving into actually provide us a safe place, a stable place to take on the new challenges that have been thrown at us. The new moon in Virgo wants us to restructure and reorganize our environments, our daily living situations. There's new roles, new responsibilities being asked of us that we're not quite in tune with yet. But most of all, we have to make sure that we are making time for our own health and wellness. Our mental health has definitely been on lock for the last couple of months, especially last month with new information and perspectives emerging. Our mental health has been a contributing factor to our instability. This particular energy is illuminating your 7th house, which is about relationships. It's about friendships, your personal romantic relationships, how you share yourself with other people, and basically where it is that you're being asked to show up for the people that you care about and how you're choosing to actually do this. Now, this Virgo energy is an earth energy, and as a water sign, this isn't your forte. This isn't providing you with enough freedom, enough fluidity to kind of go by the seat of your pants. But there are some systems and structures, some timelines, some topics, some themes right now that are being initiated that are very rooted into the physical reality that are now changing for us. So because the physical landscape of our environments are changing, because of the value and the worth that we are putting on relationships, you are going to have to kind of muddy through the waters in order to find a new stable grounding point to not only take care of yourself, but to take care of other people. Now, on the 10th, we have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and joy and finances, moving into Scorpio. So Scorpio is a sister water sign to you. This is going to illuminate for us a deep dive into the shadow parts of ourself. Venus in Scorpio definitely wants to strengthen our relationships, our bonds. We're looking for intimate connections. We're looking for soul connections. If there is any lies, betrayal, deceits in our family dynamics or relationships dynamics, it will be illuminated under this particular energy. Venus wants to take us in our psyche, in our heart space, and really start asking the deep-seated questions on why we think the way we do, on why we feel the way that we do, on why it is that we act the way that we do, especially in our relationships. Now, this particular energy is going to be highlighting your 9th house. The 9th house is basically where it is that we need to kind of elevate ourselves outside of our physical environment, our physical topics and themes right now, in order to align with our higher selves, with the universe, with the cosmos, and really see the greater, grander picture. We want to see a positive energy take over so that we can deal with even the darkest, most dark shadow parts within us from the lightest perspective possible. Venus moving into Scorpio in this 9th house for you is really going to push you to trust your intuition. It is going to push you to let go of the old ways of doing things and really align with the new energy, a new excitement to take on some very tough challenges and chapters with as much positivity as possible. Venus and Scorpio in this 9th house is teaching you a very deep life lesson. And as long as you can hold the greater, grander picture of the soul contracts that are being initiated underneath this energy, you will see that even the most difficult of situations are teaching us the most valuable of lessons. And of course, there are always silver linings. On the 14th, we have Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, and even our anger, moving into Libra. So this particular energy is going to be good because we are a little bit more aggressive in our thinking. We are more aggressive in our communication styles. We are fighting for what is right. We are advocating for what is right, especially in our relationships. This Libran energy is very light and fluffy, very focused on our relationships, very focused on making other people happy, but we have to remember to do what is right and what is fair for us as well. Now, Mars moving into Libra is going to give us a little bit more of an aggressive mental plane. It's going to make us think a little bit more aggressively to do what is right, to do what is fair for ourselves, for the greater, grander good. This particular energy is going to be illuminating your 8th house. And I'll tell you, you have a couple more different aspects taking place this month, putting pressure on the 8th house. So what does the 8th house mean? It is where death takes place. Death of ideas, death of self, death of relationships, death of contracts. Why? Because new life lessons are coming in. The 8th house after a certain death is where we get renewed, where we rebirth ourselves, where there is a dramatic transformation taking place in our lives. Because Mars in Libra is taking place in this 8th house, you best believe that you are going to be challenged to let go of certain timelines, certain topics, certain themes in order to fight for particular relationships, fighting for what is right. This is something that you're passionate about, something that you need to be a little bit more aggressive about, finding the balance in a very extreme situation. On the 20th, you're going to get a little bit of help here because you have your full moon in your sign. The full moon in Pisces is taking place at 28 degrees on the 20th, illuminating your 1st house's self. Basically, you have to rewind to your birthday. You came into this year with different hopes, different dreams, different visions, different intentions that unfortunately didn't get manifested. We had a lot of difficulty actually bringing some things into our physical realms. We had a lot of struggle, a lot of challenges. We took 1 step forward, 2 steps back. A lot of that is because we were not in alignment with our particular path. We were not in alignment with the path that was going to really show us what our full potential was. Because of that, we were given a choice point back in July under the new moon in Leo to choose one path over the other. Unfortunately, new information, new details emerged that really kind of put a fork in the road, that really did provide a perfect ending, a perfect closure point to some of those dreams and visions that didn't get manifested, and of course have now shifted our focus into what needs to happen from here on out. The full moon wants us to end, release, provide closure, and totally cut the cord with what hasn't been working since your birthday. Because this is taking place in your 1st house, this is essentially a halfway point in your natal year where up until now, it's been an uphill battle. You've now reached the peak of the mountain, so to speak. You've looked back on all that you've had to climb, all of the pain, all of the tears, all of the sweat and blood and struggles in order to get to this particular point. And now you need to take a moment to take a look over the new horizon, seeing the new perspective, seeing the new tasks, chores, opportunities, life lessons, and soul contracts that are now being opened up to you. This is going to require you to kind of essentially grieve and make peace with all of the dreams that will never be and prepare yourself for what is going to be a very interesting path down the mountain. Again, a lot of my Piscean friends are being challenged right now because y'all are the most spiritual zodiac of the whole wheel, and many of you fail to actually be disciplined enough to have a spiritual practice to balance the mind, body, and soul. So this is definitely going to be a tough love life lesson thrown at you for the next half of your natal year. On the 22nd, we have Libra season beginning. Now this typically is light and fluffy, especially compared to Virgo season that we're just coming out of in earth energy, very heavy, very dark, very kind of rooted in reorganizing our physical realms for this next chapter. Libra season is going to be much lighter. It is an air energy. It is putting a huge focus on relationships, on doing what is right within those relationships, not only for the other person, but for us as well. This Libran energy also wants to bring the love, the light back into life. Even through dark chapters, we have to find the silver linings. We have to do what makes us happy. We have to hold on to the smaller details of our life that we find joy in. Libra season is all about finding balance. And because we have gotten out of balance, have been living in extremes, this is definitely going to help us rebalance the scales of our physical environments that have been disrupted. Now, Libra season is also illuminating your 8th house, which is death, rebirth, transformation. This is also including major life lessons from other people outside of us that we are now involved in, taking part in. Why? Because tough love life lessons usually involve the people that we love the most. So there is a little bit of death taking place, ending one chapter, closing a door. This is a time for rebirthing, renewal, transforming ourselves to who it is that we need to be to tackle these challenges with as much faith, as much optimism, as much positivity is absolutely possible. We are going to be doing what is right. We are going to be fighting for what is right. And because Libra season is very rooted in relationships, this is a major factor of who it is that we're aligning with and who it is that we're fighting for. We're going to have a beautiful opportunity for a huge amount of healing towards the end of September when Neptune is going to be making a pretty interesting aspect with the true node. Neptune, of course, your ruler, is retrograde in your sign. This is going to be illuminating not only the 1st house, but the 4th house. What does this mean? It means that your home and your family dynamic, the environment that you have created home in, is changing. It means that the family relationships within the home are changing. It means that the foundation of your safety, of your security is changing. It is also putting a huge focus on where it is that you need to boss up and be a little bit more confident in implementing new boundaries for you to stay safe and secure emotionally within, and for you to be able to continue to take care of the people that you love without sacrificing the best part of your energy. This is going to be a huge challenge for you. It is really requiring you to boss up in ways that you haven't had to boss up before. It is pushing you to not only be in a caregiver, nurturer type of role for other people, but you have to understand that you do have to take care of yourself. Again, this is a huge life lesson for you to get into an actual routine where your spiritual practice is the safety net that you can lean all the way into when life gets a little bit crazy and life gets a little bit unstable. Now on the 27th, we have Mercury, the ruler of the mental plane, ruling over information and communication, going retrograde. Mercury will be going retrograde in Libra. This means that this is another illumination on your 8th house of death, rebirth, and transformation. Now, Mercury is going to slow down to give us a little bit of time to reflect, to revisit all of the changes that have gone on so far and kind of rework them in a better way. We might have to revise our plans. We might have to re-edit our perspective. We might have to rework our boundaries, our situations, and we might have to revamp and maybe renovate our foundations in our home and in our family area. So because this is really illuminating the 8th house, there are some relationship aspects that will be ending in order for new roles and responsibilities to begin. Because this is Libran energy, there's also a huge focus on happiness, joy, and finances. Basically, just when we think that we're getting stable in our new environment, things are going to be shook up in another way to find a better situation, to find a better grounding point. So Mercury going retrograde in Libra is going to give us a timeout in order to rework our relationship values and our current environments. Some of the things that the universal guides would like for you to concentrate on as you move throughout the month of September, first and foremost, is your emotions. First of all, you have a lot more options available to you than what it is that you currently think. I feel like because a little bit of, drama got thrown into the situation, because new timelines, new contracts, new challenges are being thrown your way, you feel very limited in your options. I feel like you're looking at it as an either or type of situation. I feel like because you are going to be making some major moves in your physical environment and in your home and life area, I feel like you're going to go with the flow, you're going to make things happen, and then you really have to question whether or not this is going to work for you. I feel like because the 8th house is kind of focused on where death, rebirth, and transformation is taking place, you are going to have a couple of opportunities throughout the month to make some major changes and then sit and evaluate whether or not they are going to be safe enough, secure enough, stable enough to actually see you through this next chapter and cycle. There is going to be a lot of revision. There is going to be a lot of things that need to be reworked, and you have to be honest with yourself and the people who are involved in these situations on what it is you're thinking and what it is that you're feeling. I feel like there are some very dark thoughts coming up for you. I know that you're being faced with a lot of stressful situations. The 8th house being a major focus for you does illuminate the darker side of our emotions and our thoughts. But here's the thing. You are such pure light vibration that it is literally your choice on whether or not you are going to be negative Nancy, Debbie Downer, Betty the Bully, and sit in the darkness, or whether or not you are going to dive into your spiritual practice and awaken every ounce of light that you have in you. Your mental plane is definitely dark because you're not pushing yourself to align with your intuition. You're letting your ego really create a lot of fears, insecurities, doubts, and uncertainties within you that you are basing your vibration, attitude, and frequency on. Please do your part to recognize where the darker forces are trying to keep you in a lower vibration. And please do your part to constantly remind yourself that you are not those darker thoughts. You have the wisdom and resources in you to elevate your vibration and frequency, even in the darkest of times, and to be the light, to be the beacon of light that not only you need in order to find your way out of the darkness, but that other people need in order to follow. You're being asked to take a leap of faith. You're being asked to trust the universe. You're being asked to surrender all of the darker thoughts and energies and vibrations and frequencies that are being created by your ego. You're being asked to release those to the universe. This is time for you to surrender. This is time for you to fall back and trust that you will be caught by the universe, provided for by the universe, and pushed in the right direction. This is a very awkward adjustment period for you. There are a lot of bumps in the path and in the road ahead. However, you have the ability to lean very heavily in your faith. You have the ability to trust your gut, your intuition, your higher self, the validations coming in from the universe to override some of the negative thoughts and negative feelings that your ego are trying to keep you in a state of paralysis 4. Please recognize your strength, recognize your light, and recognize that you have the opportunity to shine your bright light even in the darkest of days. So that's all that I have for you, Pisces. I hope you have a beautiful month, and we'll talk to you soon.